Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is the Coast Musings. Here we muse about issues of life and make constructive adjustments moving forward based on the conclusions you come to. Have you ever come across a couple who obviously are in love, yet do not seem to understand each other? They just don't get along. Chances are they are just not compatible interpersonally. Interpersonal compatibility is a deciding element in the longevity of any relationship. Right now, I'm going to discuss interpersonal compatibility and why it is very important to consider it, especially if you're deciding to go long term with your relationship, and how to even test for compatibility. Compatibility simply means harmonious living between people. Now, interpersonal compatibility ensures a long-term interaction between two or more people where there's ease of comfort in communication. Note this, without communication, there is no relationship. Because communication is very, very important in any relationship, the ease of comfort of that communication becomes very important. Otherwise, the relationship will become very cumbersome. People just simply do not get along. They don't understand each other, and so they don't get along. And when they don't get along, no matter how hard they try, no matter how in love they are, it gets difficult. Compatibility fosters love, but love does not foster compatibility. Now, before I go any further, I want you to ask yourself this question. Is my partner and I compatible? Also remember this, it is very easy to fall in love, but the staying in love is the problem. Now, the following are some signs of compatibility between people and vice versa. Listen carefully. When two people are compatible, there's a deep level of understanding and connection. They're literally on the same page on issues. They agree without even trying. They're like literally in the other person's mind on things. They kind of sync on a certain level in terms of goals, interests, dreams, aspirations, and they have a palpable emotional, physical, psychological, even spiritual connection. And even when they are supposed to make compromises, people who have interpersonal compatibility easily transition to the other person without friction. People who have interpersonal compatibility have a click. They click. They really do click. The very opposite is true for people who are not compatible interpersonally. They seem not to understand anything. They seem to be on different tangents emotionally, physically, spiritually. They don't sync. They are not in tune with each other. You know you're compatible with someone when you know you can depend on them and they will not fail you. In their unconscious efforts, they show care and concern. And they don't even try, just there. They do not stand aloof on the other person's emotions or in their affairs. They get involved meaningfully. And it's not like they are coerced. They just naturally flow into the other person's affairs. And they want to be there. They want to help. And the other person knows that they can depend on them because they've got their back. And because you know that they've got your back, you are at ease. Very opposite is true for people who are not interpersonally compatible. They seem to be aloof. They are not involved in the other person's issues. And no matter how hard they try, they just cannot be there because there's a disconnect somewhere. They don't sync. Naturally, they are not there. Another sure sign of people having interpersonal compatibility is that they have serious communication. It is easier between these two people to share their dreams, to speak out their minds, their feelings about issues, and they know the other person will not rubbish it. They'll take it serious, they value it. They sit together to discuss things about their future, about things that concern them. And because there's meaningful communication between them, they have their true selves. They do not pretend. They do not hide their emotions. They bear it all out because they know that the other person will take them serious just for who they are. And they do not fake their emotions around the person because they know that they'll take it seriously and they'll value it. The very opposite is true for people who are not interpersonally compatible. They just do not communicate. They don't have any meaningful communication. Any time they decide to communicate, it turns out into a fight. or they're just thoughts apart from each other, and they have to fake their emotions because the other person might not take it as seriously. And it's not even because they are not trying, they just cannot communicate because they don't sync. Another sign of people who have interpersonal compatibility is that their authentic true selves are celebrated and encouraged. Naturally, they are proud of each other, what you are, what you represent, and sometimes even things that you don't know you can do, they try to unearth, they try to push you, they kind of show you up. They are biggest fans. They will just blow your trumpet anywhere, anyhow, because they are proud of you. They see themselves in you, and they are proud of themselves. And because they see themselves in you, they're also proud of you, and they encourage you to be your best self. And around them, you're not afraid to be your own self because they cheer you on. The very opposite is true for people who do not have interpersonal compatibility. They don't celebrate you, and they could care less about what you can do. And they want to now tell you how you should live your life because what you are really irritates them. How do you test for compatibility? 2 ways. 1, observe. Begin to look at your love life through the lens of reality rather than emotions. Do not turn a blind eye or deaf ear to warning signs. If you realize in your dealings with your significant other that you don't click, don't say they will change with time. They usually will not change. It is a warning sign. If you observe that they are not there, they are simply not available, it's a warning sign. Observe their movement. Any action that puts you ill at ease about their behaviors and their attitude, deal with it. Do not brush it under the carpet. Don't think time will deal with it. Time will not deal with it. They don't communicate meaningfully with you. Have to hide your true self around them. If you see that in your relationship, you better advise yourself. And if you're already married, you have to now pray for grace to continue with the journey and make constructive adjustments, adaptations, and compromises. 2, test for differences and similarities. Be deliberate about it. Create scenarios that test how your partner will behave in agreement to your likes or your dislikes and how they actually accept your person or not, and reservedly advise yourself. Now, this friend of mine who loves to draw, she just doodle around, just drawing, take things from roots memory, draw them, or just look at something, watch them and draw them. And her significant other thought it was childish. Even though when she did those things, it gave her pleasure and a sense of fulfillment, her significant other thought she was being childish. And sometimes when she drew for him, he would take it and throw it away. And she said anytime she saw anything she has drawn on the ground and this guy just stepped on it or just pushed it away, she felt so broken. So she had to advise herself, let him go. And this other guy who, draw for me, baby, draw for me. Now, if you like this video, if you've come this far, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's get talking. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.